remember their defense specifically? There was a lot of turnovers in that game, and could you just talk about the importance of taking care of the ball tomorrow?
Mm-hmm. Well, Tennessee's a very athletic team. I think they played mostly man against us from what I recall. When you play a team that denies the ball and they're very athletic, usually if you're not strong with the ball or really aren't conscious, you will turn it over. So I know we've been working on that in practice, being strong with the ball, taking every possession we have, seriously, not taking any possessions for granted. And I think combined with your last question, the experience of playing against them last year, I think it's going to be helpful in limiting those turnovers this year.
Matt, does your approach or your mindset change at all when you go into a game against bigs that Tennessee has that are smaller, a little more athletic, kind of get away with their athleticism as opposed to what you faced on Friday with a bigger space eater type center?
Yeah, you definitely have to change your game plan a little bit. Going in with you guys, you know that they're going to be physical, they're going to try to draw fouls, and that would be something that could hinder me if I didn't know that going in. I'll have to make sure that I wall up, keep my hands up straight, don't get any stupid fouls, because that's an easy way for me to find myself on the bench and not being able to help my team. And just with them on the offensive end, I also want to attack as much as I can. They are big body guys, but I also feel that I'm a pretty big body myself, and I can do the same things that they want to do to me, I can do to them.
Hey Matt, what's just a thought on playing with such a big team in a big game so early in the season? Do you like this kind of matchup, even though it's still early November?
Yeah, I do. I like the fact that it's sort of a game you get to look forward to early in the schedule. A lot of times, some teams take an easier schedule going in, but the fact that we can come out and sort of get a statement win and we can play a team that has a high level caliber team, I think it's a way to build our confidence. We definitely want to ride this game off as much as we can to help with the rest of our non-conference schedule. And going into the battle for Atlantis coming up in a couple weeks, it'd be something that we'd be able to sort of build off of and use as a base for our confidence.
Matt, we talked about last game about the team being a little bit in a nebulous situation with the injuries and stuff, and you talked about next guy in being that mentality. Can you talk about how that's really affected your practices, or how you kind of approach a game knowing that you just don't know kind of what's going to happen with these guys with the injuries?
Yeah, it's been a little tough just having to change guys around positions a little bit, but I think we've handled it well in the last couple practices or the last practice. It was something where we never tried to use the excuse of, oh, well, he has never played that position, or, oh, he doesn't know that play because he doesn't usually play there. It's something where it's like, all right, well, we got to get this done, so let's get it done now. Let's not waste reps. Let's not waste time. And everyone sort of embraced that whole mentality. I think we're going to be just okay, and I'm not really worried about that. But, yeah, the next guy's ready to step up, and everyone's going to do their part.
Have you felt, Matt, that the students, the fans have kind of embraced the kind of game you bring to the floor, a high-energy guy, a guy who can do a lot of things in the low block and also can, get dirty and make hustle kind of plays? Do you think people are embracing the kind of game you have this early on?
Yeah, I definitely do. Just from seeing people on campus, from people in the stands, it's been wonderful for me. I've had a blast. The student section has been behind the whole team, the past 2 games, 3 games, whatever we played. And it's been great. I couldn't ask for anything better, especially coming from a school that didn't really have the biggest student section. Seeing just hundreds of kids out there chanting your name, it's amazing. Like, it's been so good. When you're on the court, you always have that energy, and it honestly does help you break that mental barrier. When you think you may be tired, but you hear thousands of people cheering, it just like gets you going, propels you, and it's something that's really fun.
Erik, you're on scholarship again this year.
Mm-hmm.
When you transferred here, is that something that you expected to happen, or are you surprised it's happened for the second straight year?
I would say when I transferred over, there was no guarantees when I transferred over at all. Coach Mack made that clear. But he gave me the chance. He said there was definitely going to be a chance to play, the opportunity to prove myself. I wouldn't just come in as a walk-on and, never have really the opportunity to show, my skills or anything. So I think, given that chance, I really worked hard, 100% on and off the court. Every small opportunity I had to prove myself, I went, all out. And at the end of the day, it got me a scholarship the first year, my first year playing. And then I wouldn't necessarily say I was surprised this year, but it was definitely a big relief. It's paying for my grad school, so I can't ask for really anything more than that. And I'm really happy and blessed and thankful for just having the opportunity to get that chance to prove myself. And I really worked hard, and at the end of the day, I was lucky enough to pay off for me.
Matt, can you speak to that? Like his hustle, what's it bring to the team?
Yeah, from the first summer I got here, he was a guy who sort of led by example. He was a guy who you knew was never going to take a rep off, was never going to complain about anything, because he was so grateful for the opportunity and excited at the same time. Being a local guy, he knew sort of the ropes to go around the city, and then on the court, he was a guy who knew was always going to hustle, whether it was open gym, whether it was shooting free throws. He's a guy that, although he may not make a lot, he will concentrate, that's for sure. He'll be the guy that is always focused on the court. There's never a joking moment for him. He's always serious about that. And that's honestly what our team needs, especially with a lot of younger guys. And he's sort of embraced that role, and that's why he deserves a scholarship, is because he's been a guy who's been a leader for us and has held our team together in a lot of tough situations.
Does he joke off the court? Is he
Oh,
off the court?
yeah, he's a funny guy off the court. You can know that.
Any examples of that?
Let's see. He'll always be the guy to crack a joke about what I'm doing. If I'm hanging out with my girlfriend, it's always, oh, what are you doing, Matt? You're hanging out with Anna? Okay, yeah. He's always the guy to joke about something. He always knows what's going on, always knows the inside jokes, so, yeah.
This is the second game of a home-and-home series with Tennessee, and things were a little different last year personnel-wise when you played them. But do you take anything away from seeing them last year and knowing some of the personnel coming in this year?
Well, our kids, without a doubt, respect the heck out of Tennessee. Their style, their personnel, their athleticism, their skill level. We have a big challenge on our hands tomorrow night, and so I think more than anything, we take away the fact that we're playing an excellent team, and one that got a lot better as the year went on a year ago, but have all the pieces back and more.
Last year's obviously a low-scoring, physical game. Do you think that they've improved on the offensive end with some of the pieces they've added this year?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, you get kids that are, a guy like Jordan McRae going into his last year. He'll be an SEC Player of the Year candidate, as well Jarnell Stokes, and Maimon is a load. Anybody that can get 20 rebounds in a game, let alone against a team like Memphis a couple of years ago. They had a McDonald's All-American, so we know how much talent they have. And the thing that Coach Martin does an excellent job of is he gets that talent to play extremely hard, and that's not always easy. I think sometimes the more talented teams don't play as hard, and that's not the case with the Volunteers.
Do you have any update on Dee or Justin or Miles?
My staff has been on me to get more into statistics and analyzing data. So the best I can give you is I think there's probably a 40% chance that 75% or less of our players will be able to play tomorrow. And this isn't the NFL. I don't have to disclose any injury reports, so who we roll out there with tomorrow night. But I'd say about 40% of the 75% will be ready, hopefully.
Coach, to play a big game like this early in the season, exciting, obviously because a lot of teams are playing, smaller, lesser-named teams. You guys come out and play Tennessee early November. Just kind of your thoughts on playing a big game this early.
Yeah, the heartbeat race is a little bit faster. It's a huge challenge. You get a team that's favored to be in the top of the SEC coming in. I think on paper an NCAA tournament team. Your kids come to Xavier to play these types of games, and we've got a lot more of them on our schedule than we ever have. This is the first one of the year, and so it's going to be a tough game.
Is it different now when you're in the Big East and there are a lot of big name teams where in the past these out-of-conference games might have meant so much more to this program for NCAA tournament seeding and that such? And I'm not saying you don't take this game any less serious now that you are in the Big East, but is there less pressure on a game like this for this team with so many big games on the schedule?
I don't know. I told our kids, it's not a make. You don't play make or break games in November, but you do play tournament games. You play games that can matter at the end of the year. When teams are getting compared, you absolutely can put a feather in your cap. And so, again, this game won't make or break us, nor will it make or break Tennessee. But it's a huge challenge. It's one in our building. And so our guys have to be ready. I know our crowd will be. We have to be ready to go tomorrow night.
With the injuries you guys do have right now, is this a big opportunity for guys like we saw James Farr the other night, Kamal Richards? Would they get those few minutes to show you that they can do something if you have to rely on them later in the year?
Well, we want to be a deeper team than not, and James did a great job on Friday night. Regardless of the opponent, he rebounded the ball. And, if you can rebound the ball and you can handle yourself on the offensive end, know what you're doing, and on the defensive end, hold your own and rebound like he did, he's going to play. As a coach, those type of performances give you an awful lot of confidence. And he's not going to be perfect, but there's no player on our team that's perfect. But the effort was, and the way he rebounded the ball was at a very, very high level.
What do you think that Erik Stenger brings to the team besides hustle?
I think he brings immediate respect from his teammates. He's the same guy each and every drill, each and every day. Every time he steps on the floor, you know exactly what you're going to get out of Erik. His effort doesn't depend on his mood. And that's not always easy with 18 to 21, 18 to 22-year-old guys. But for Erik, he has really cemented who he is every single day. So he's going to give you that effort. He's going to give you a toughness. He gives you athleticism. And he just, I think he's a calming influence on our guys because they know what Erik brings to the table every play.